Looks like we are live. All right, so today we're going to be talking about halo effect. And halo effect, really, you really got to think about it as you don't get what you deserve, you get what people perceive you to be. What does that mean? Halo effect really is that invisible currency that dictates your wealth. It's going to dictate your dating life, it's going to dictate your success in business, and it can even dictate your spiritual growth. Okay. Now, most people are actually letting halo effect destroy instead of actually weaponizing it and using it to their advantage. Okay? So, tonight in the live stream, I'm actually going to be breaking down how halo effect runs your reality and how you can actually flip that across all of the five pillars in my new mirror mentoring system. And that's actually going to build you power that lasts a lifetime. Right. So that's the promise I have for you guys. So the first one is going to be that winning frequency. Okay. This is really how people feel your energy before they even hear your words, right? And there's ways that you can actually use halo effect to, I wouldn't say manipulate this, but to improve it across not just your social media, but even your presence in real life. Okay, because people are gonna assign value to you based on how you carry yourself, not what you know, not your experiences, not how skilled you are, not how attractive you are, right? It's all going to be based on how you carry yourself. So the better you can master this, the more halo effect you're going to have. So halo effect, if you want to put it simply, it's if you look like a winner, people assume that everything else is true. They'll assume you're smart, they'll assume that, you have an awesome dating life, they'll assume that you're great at business, and they'll just assume that you get nothing but winning. And that's really the true power of halo effect. And we've got some people jumping on the stream. Welcome to the stream. If you guys got value on this, always drop a W in the chat. We got someone in the Instagram side. We got Serge FLX. Oh, somebody with the saying Aston Martin. Yeah, Aston Martin does help with a little bit of the halo effect. Now, the opposite works as well, okay? Because if you look uncertain, people assume that you're incompetent, that you're not good at what you do, that you're not socially aware, and that you're not emotionally aware as well. Okay. So this is why I always push with that winning frequency in my mirror mentoring program that you have to have zero doubt when you speak and when you put yourself into the world. I'm not even just talking about online, I'm talking about in person as well. Okay. Now, of course, we're gonna have our ups and downs in our days, but you can actually speak and portray yourself of having zero doubt, even if you're having the worst day of your life. Okay. Because that winning frequency really is building an identity so grounded that people immediately trust you, desire you, and respect you. And the only way you can do that is if there's zero doubt in your mind that you're actually competent at what you do. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about like actually having skills and the mindset around this, but there's actually a benefit to being able to just laugh and be an idiot. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay. Now, you ever notice how if one confident person walks into a room, it can actually shift the entire vibe. Yeah, I see this in like DJing all the time. Okay, they'll be like the openers, maybe they're super new, maybe they're not so confident just yet. But the moment that headliner walks in, and we usually assume that a headliner has massive halo effect because one, they're a headliner. There's a ton of branding and marketing pushing that they're actually good at what they do. And if they're the person that's going to close the show or be the headliner, they're usually fairly confident, right? They usually have a general sense of halo effect, whether they understand this consciously or not. Okay? Now, the next thing is going to be emotional lesson based lifestyle. Okay. Because one, we're not taught about our emotions in school very rarely. I mean, I teach grade 7 right now, and I think we probably spent maybe at most a month learning about emotions, but it wasn't a lot, right? Now, what I mean by a lesson or an emotional lesson based lifestyle is you really need to understand how people feel emotionally around you. Okay? You really got to develop that skill to figure out how safe or unsafe do you make people feel. Okay. And if you don't regulate this yourself, this can cause chaos in your life. It can cause chaos in your brand. It can cause chaos in like your social skills, okay? Because you're not being able to fully understand how you're making other people feel, okay? People will remember emotional energy that you leave behind, okay? I always tell this to my coaching clients, like it almost doesn't matter what you say as long as people feel that you want them to win, they feel heard, and they feel that you actually care. Okay. Because people do not care about you until they know that you actually care about them. And the easy way to do this, I say easy, but it's something that you can actually learn as a skill, is being able to stay calm, even when in a chaotic environment, being able to stay grounded really gives you the benefit of the doubt. And that's that halo effect, right? Of you see someone walk in, they're super calm, they can chat anyone up, they can bring up business offers without it being a big deal. They can ask for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K without asking that it's like a big deal, right? And that's what creates that calmness. Okay. We got Ali in the chat. Welcome. Um, Now, as you get cast as someone who is safe, powerful, maybe fatherly if you're a dude, right? Versus someone who's like erratic and reactive, this will instantly create halo effect around you. Okay. A lot of like the younger kids call halo effect aura. It's the exact same thing. Okay. Having aura or having halo effect is literally the same thing. Okay. And you want to ask yourself this, like, what emotional residue are you leaving behind after every interaction? Okay. One of my goals, especially if I'm just out having fun, is I want to leave people better than when I found them. And what does that mean? That means I'm like cracking jokes, I'm having fun, I'm being an idiot, right? There's a time and place to try and be like smart and hoity-toity. Find that there's very rarely any places like that. But if you can actually leave people being excited, having fun, being like wanting more of your energy, that is going to give you so much halo effect, right? And I do this in like my own career, right? Chloe says, "Mister, can I fill up my water bottle?" That's hilarious. Yeah, so I teach like grade 7 kids, right? And part of my thing is I tell them I'm not going to yell at them, but I will shame them sometimes, right? Now, that's going to leave an energetic residue where they're not going to feel good, but I'm only doing that if they do some things that are like messed up, right? If they're like bullying a child, if they're not being respectful, then I will push on that negative emotional residue, right? The reason I do that is because I actually care, right? I actually want to give some sort of punishment because they're not acting right. But for the most part, what I'm really doing is I'm trying to create enough positive emotional energy and connect that to learning, specifically learning the things that they actually care about, right? Like I could teach them French. Cool. They might not actually care yet, right? And like that's fine. Like I didn't care about learning about French when I was like their age, but they'll care more about, hey, how can I learn to speak in a way that's going to help me make money in the future? How can I speak in a way that is actually going to help me make friends? How can I speak in a way that calms me down, calms the other person down, and then allows me to, hey, maybe get like their first dates or whatever? These kids start dating at that age, whatever. Hey, those are things that are interesting to them. And I'm not trying to, force broccoli down these kids' throats. In fact, I'm offering them a little bit of cake, the stuff that's fun, and then sneaking the learning in there. Okay. That's the power of halo effect. I can take something that's like, quote unquote boring and then make it interesting. I'm even doing that as I'm speaking right now, right? I did this the last live stream, but I could speak in a way that's super monotone and talk about how Halo Effect is going to change your life and Halo Effect is important. Like I'm even falling asleep right now. Okay. Or I can talk in a way that's like I'm actually trying to get your attention because I truly believe what I'm saying is important. Right. Cool. Now, next part, the third pillar is the identity engineering and how does Halo Effect relate to this pillar is what I like to call sovereign identity transformation. Okay. There is a silent power in being spiritually unshakable. If you guys are writing down notes at home, say this again, right? Write it down. Okay. There's a silent power in being spiritually unshakable. Okay. Example, um, I was dealing with a really tough time, like in my career. Okay. I was going through like a $70,000 lawsuit. Does that mean I get to show up to work and then take that out on my coworkers and take that out on like my students and take that out on my employees in my business? Hell no. Okay. No one cares that I'm dealing with those problems. And in fact, it gives me more power if I can show up to places, be exactly the same, whether I'm having an awesome day or I'm just dealing with fires and chaos in the background. If I can have that behind me, it actually increases my halo effect. Because for everyone else, they'd be freaking out. They probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed. But people will look at you and be like, "Oh, we had no idea you're dealing with that. How did you remain so calm?" Well, it's because I understand, and I'm not just doing it to like farm aura, have halo effect. I actually understand that the solutions come when I can remain calm and then just go to work and then even borderline enjoy it, even if it's all chaotic, right? Okay. We got people beefing in the chat. That's hilarious. Don't beef in the chat. Hmm. Drop a W in the chat if you are getting value out of this. On the Instagram side, we have someone asking, "What is your career?" So I'm a teacher, right? Took about 2.5 years off after the 2020 event, let's say. And yeah, I love teaching. Like even when I took that time off, like what did I do during that time? I built an online education business, and like I still do that. So I'm in real estate too. That's where I bury my money into real estate, but I'm always like in teaching. I'm never gonna quit teaching. Like it's my summer off. Most teachers aren't thinking about teaching, and I'm doing a live stream teaching you what I think is like the most important thing on the planet, which is halo effect. Anyway, miss you guys all. I'll see you guys. You guys people on the TikTok, like I'm not dead. But I'll see you guys. But it means I did a good job, right? Now, the most attractive people carry a certain level of mystery and depth. That's that spiritual halo effect. That's what we call aura, right? And that mystery you can actually like concoct. You can actually like again, I don't want to say manipulate, but you can change how people perceive you to create that mystery. An easy one that I do, especially with a lot of guys that I coach, is I tell them to talk less and be okay with pauses. So many people get so awkward when you add a little bit of a pause. Like they just don't feel comfortable adding a pause. And it dramatically destroys like so much of the relationships, right? Half the time, like I let my wife just like mostly talk. I'll joke around, be an idiot with her sometimes. You got Henry in the chat. Looking forward to seeing you in Calgary, bro. But when I coach, like especially when I coach guys with dating, like I tell them you want to build mystery and depth even if you have like a wife, like you're not gonna not try and like riz your wife up like that. Like that makes no sense. Like you're choosing her to like riz her up for the rest of her life, basically. And these principles still work, right? Now, you don't have to quote like scripture or like mysticism to like be mysterious and stuff. In fact, I think that doesn't help you at all. Like I love philosophy. I'll talk about it sometimes, but I choose very specific circles to talk and nerd down about that because most people don't give a shit, right? But it's really in your stillness and your clarity. Okay, if you can again remain calm no matter what, have this stillness, have this groundedness with you, it becomes very attractive, especially when other people are in chaos. Okay, all sovereignty means is that no external storm will shift your internal. Okay, no matter what happens outside, good or bad, it does not shift your internal. Okay, a perfect example of this is like so I was fortunate enough to shoot Summer of Sound. Like we did the video and photography for Summer of Sound. It's like Central Canada's largest electronic music festival, and the headliner was Side Piece, right? It's DJ duo, it's two dudes, and we're in the back, we're seeing like watching them set up and whatnot. They're about to go on stage, and then as they're going on stage, this was a clear, it was probably the clearest example of halo effect that I've seen. Is that before they get on stage, they had maybe like 20 girls that were fairly attractive, I'd say, go on stage before them, and then they get on stage. And do you think they look super excited to have that many like attractive girls on stage with them? Not really. They look like they're just having a regular day. This is not a big deal. And they're able to use that to farm aura or to have halo effect. And we got Colton in the chat. How's summer break? It's awesome. Having a blast and teaching you guys on summer. Things that, school won't teach you. So, what I want you guys to think about is the following. Can people actually feel the work that you've done without you ever saying a word? Okay. Like, I don't, it actually will destroy my halo effect if I start telling people, like, oh, like all I do is teach and this is like thing that I'm super excited about. But instead, if I can portray myself and be super comfortable in my own skin and truly understand that I'm already a good teacher because I'm still always working on it, well, people will feel that. Same thing when I coach, my high net worth clients when it comes to like the dating stuff. I don't want them to ever display or show off their money. I don't want them to go to the gym to look good for someone else, but I want them to really develop that halo effect where the moment they speak, the moment maybe they're not even talking, the moment they're just there in their presence, you would feel right away that this person's confident. This person probably makes a lot of dough. This person's already in good health. Good health is easy. Like it shows, right? Like in your posture, in like your like actual muscle structure, it just shows, right? Without even you saying a word. Okay. Because now you're not trying to validate yourself. You know that just you existing already offers value because of all the experiences you have. The highest level of that is you have halo effect just because you exist. Okay. Not because you did XYZ. So you have all these accomplishments. Erase all that and you still have halo effect. That is the ultimate level of halo effect. Okay. Now, next part. Talk about social alchemy. Okay. How does halo effect connect to this? Okay. How the world decides your value before you even speak. So how does the world even like decide if this person is more valuable than this person before even saying anything? Okay. Social skills are not just about how you say clever things. Social skills are really about how you can perceive what's going on in a room, how you show what's called high status of body language. Okay. I know guys that are multimillionaires but show low status behavior and it destroys them. Okay. Your level of eye contact. Okay. Something I work on, even with my grade 7 students, right? We work on eye contact because I know that something so simple as being able to hold eye contact. And I'm doing this to my screen or to my webcam on TikTok. And then now I'm going to switch to Instagram. But being able to hold certain eye contact with zero doubt in your mind and how you speak is again going to add so much halo effect to you. Okay. Having that calm voice instead of your voice going up like, hey, how's it going, or it sounds like you're always asking a question. It's that voice that kind of breaks rapport all the time, right? We got a heart in the chat saying I have so many questions. Drop them in the chat. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'm almost done this part, so I'm just going to go into questions, kind of riff a little bit. I should be eating. This is the whole point of this. I got cookie butter croissant that my wifey made, and it's awesome. W in the chat for heart for sharing the live with more than 10 friends. You're awesome. I give you candy, fried candy right now. People follow those who already look like they're being followed, right? This isn't a social experiment that I've tried. If you get like 3 friends, 3 or 4 friends that have like one has a professional camera, two of them have like just iPhones, and you walk into a mall and then you have these random friends like run up to you and like start taking pictures, I'm like, oh my God, and like start recording you and stuff, people will start thinking you're a celebrity, right? We do this all the time. Like I'll actually manufacture halo effect. Um, Again, if people pay me for the service, right? But you can actually manufacture halo effect. So like, say I get hired by a DJ who want to manufacture this and make it look like this person's way more famous than they are. I'll go up and be like, oh my God, is like, is that is that DJ Project P? And then have another friend come by like 2 minutes later and then go up to the same DJ and be like, oh my God, like your Project P, can you like sign this for me? And then all these people, like we've already talked about this. Like this is all premeditated. This is planned out. But other people don't know that, right? Other people just see it like, like they're like, what's going on? Like, who is this guy? Why does everyone ask for this guy's they're asking for this guy's autograph, trying to get photos with this guy? And you might think it's manipulative, but it's a social experiment, right? I'm trying to show people that halo effect has a ton of power. Halo effect is just this, it's how you're perceived, essentially. Leah sharing the live with more than 5 friends. Shout out to you. W in the chat. Because if you're already someone that looks like you're being followed, if you already look like a leader, most people are a little bit lazy in their thinking, especially if you haven't learned about halo effect. Like you're not someone that's critically thinking about this. Yeah, this is why I always share this with my students, whether my high paying clients or even my people in my mirror mentoring program. I tell them about the power of halo effect because I don't want you to fall for it, right? Especially if you're in real estate. Like if you're in real estate and you're trying to raise money from a multimillionaire, if you don't have halo effect and you fall for their halo effect, you might try to play it safe. You might not even ask for the deal. You might be a little awkward around them, right? You might have that little nervousness around them. Instead, if you flipped it on them, now you have the halo effect and the other person doesn't. Well, you're the one cracking jokes, you're having a blast, you're having fun, you're joking around, maybe you're doing like funny dances, funny faces, and then the multi-millionaire on the other side of the room is like, what the heck's going on? Like most people are nervous around me. Most people like can't even talk properly to me, and this guy's just being an idiot. Like I want that, right? That's the one thing, and write this down. Like seriously, write this down. This is probably the most important lesson that I'll have in this live is that you can not compete when it comes to money, when it comes to looks, right? So think about it. Even if you make 100 million bucks, there's someone that's a billionaire. Now, maybe one of you guys is that's watching this will become a billionaire. Awesome. Like that's cool. Most likely, none of us here will become billionaires, and that's fine, right? But you got to understand, you can't compete when it comes. Okay, there's always someone rich. Then it comes to good looks, like attraction, being attractive. There's always someone more attractive. Okay, you can be decently attractive, cool. But there's gonna be that supermodel. There's gonna be like Leonardo DiCaprio. You're not competing against these people when it comes to looks. But what is the one thing any of us here can compete with? And that's our edge is if you unlock the power of halo effect specifically and really simplifying this, it's if you can be a competent idiot. Okay, think about it. Who are the people that always got away with things in school? It was the competent idiots. It was the kid that could still get their 80s or 90s or A plus, but they were also the class clown. Okay, and I still use that in my career, in my business, right? Because I'm not going to compete when it comes to money with these investors that are like 55. They're like, been investing for like 15 years. I've only been investing for 7 years. Cool, right? There, there's going to be guys that are way more jacked than me, way taller than me. I'm like 5'5.5" on a good day, right? I'm tiny. So that's why I say I'm bite sized. It's hilarious, right? I think it's funny. Most people think it's funny. But the one thing they can't compete on is if you could be so comfortable in your own skin that you can be yourself and just joke around yourself. Like life's too short to not joke around, right? Like if I'm not laughing at work and having a good time, like dude, that sucks. Like I don't want to deal with that, you know? I want to be able to like have a blast and competent, right? That's the key. You can't just be competent because if you're just competent, you're not like it's fun. It kind of sucks. Like you're not really fun to hang out with. But if you're just an idiot, but you're not actually good at what you do, that actually might be a little bit better. But you want that good combo of you're awesome to hang out with and you're actually really good at what you do. Those are the people I love hanging out. People I can joke around with, I can dance with them, I can make funny faces. You know? But The idea here is like when you walk into a room, do people think you belong or do people think you're trying to belong? There's a big difference, right? And you'll see this like that's why I find people get so nervous when it comes to networking or even like parties and stuff. It's because they're trying to belong to the group as opposed to just belonging. Okay. You'll see there's a big difference. And I'll notice it myself too. Like if I'm a little more uncomfortable during that day, maybe it wasn't like the best day or I'm dealing with some stuff like outside of like in my personal life. I'm trying to dance there, but I'm not really dancing. I'm kind of like, oh, am I dancing? Like, do I look cool? Do I look cool yet? Am I part of the group yet? Like, not working out for me, right? As opposed to if you're just having a blast, being an idiot, I'm joking around, having fun, that's where you really tap into that halo effect. Okay? That's what becomes attractive. That's what really pulls people in, both in a social setting, but also in like a business setting. Last pillar before I start taking some questions on TikTok and also on IG is that aligned wealth strategies. Okay, so how can you use halo effect to actually build wealth? So you want to think about how the world pays people based on their perception, right? And this is really about your brand positioning. Okay. When it comes to investors, when it comes to clients, when it comes to attracting like your dating relationships, people don't actually care about your potential. They care about your presentation, your positioning, and then your posture. Like, how do you actually create an aura and a brand around you that allows people to want to be your client, to want to be your investor, or to even want to be, someone who dates you, right? Your bank account is probably going to be capped based on how you're perceived in your niche, right? Your dating life is going to be capped on how you're perceived, right? And then this is really going to allow you to use halo effect in business because your brand creates aura, that creates presentation. And if you have the right story, you can sell that story and it's all aligned. People immediately want to buy from you, not only buy from you, but pay high ticket, right? Because I'll give you a story. When I first started coaching real estate and the financial literacy stuff, I was charging, well, one, I was doing it for free. And then eventually started charging $20. And then I started charging, $40. And then I started charging $80. And I just kept going and going and going until I finally hired a coach. And he's like, Pat, like, just charge 10 grand, dude. And I was like, what? Like, people aren't going to pay me 10 grand. He's like, no, people are not going to pay you right now because you don't believe in yourself. And the way you talk sounds like someone who's doesn't believe in themselves. But let's make a few switches. Let's make a few changes. All he did was he showed me how to talk in a way that one was more confident, two, how to not be nervous when I came to asking for 10,000 bucks over a Zoom call, and then three, actually create a brand around this. Okay. So once I learned that, I remember that call. It was actually the first 2 months that I went full time in business. And like I was a little bit dumb back then. I was really dumb back then. I didn't give myself a like enough of a float. So like I was on my last like $1,000. And if I didn't close $10,000 in 11 days, the whole dream was done. Like I would be forced back into teaching publicly as opposed to going back because I want to. Anyway, so I'm there, I'm on a Zoom call, and it comes time to ask the question, right? I give the price. So I was taught to essentially, so the price is, 10,000 bucks. Do you want to pay e-transfer or credit card? And then just shut up. Just don't talk. And then the person on the other end was like, yeah, let's do e-transfer. And in my head, I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way this person is going to pay me $10,000 through e-transfer when just 2 weeks ago I was charging like less than $1,000 for the exact same program, right? The exact same thing. So what ended up happening is, again, I looked at my script. I knew what the line was. It's like, okay, yeah, e-transfer works. What's the best email? Send, and I go through it. And then I literally just followed the script. And at the end of that day, close the laptop at 10,000 bucks into my account. And I went outside because I was in Calgary at the time. I went outside and I was just like doing a crazy dance. I call it my closing dance. I still do this to this day because it reminds me of how I was able to go from not understanding how that whole sales process worked, not understanding halo effect, to seeing how this actually helps. And I was able to make that $10,000 on that one call. I was doing this dance and like my girlfriend, now my wife, comes up and she's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I'm like, "We get to eat." Like I was hyped. I was like, I was doing my dance like, "We get to eat now." And he's like, "What?" She's like, "What do you mean like we get to eat? Wasn't like that was in question?" I was like, "Not anymore." Because in my head I was like, "Crap, if I screw this up and we don't close this deal, like I'm screwed. Like we're gonna eat ramen noodles and like I love ramen noodles, but we're gonna be forced to eat ramen noodles. Ramen tastes way better when you don't need to eat ramen. Just saying." We got DJ Henny in the chat. Welcome. Appreciate it, bro. Studio goes hard. Yeah, studio does go hard. Check out the studio. It looks better on TikTok. On Instagram, you guys just see him. I'm in like my basement here. Halo effect, right? Halo effect. Anyway, it's having that brand, having that aura, having that presentation, all that story, all that aligned is really what's going to allow you to have that halo effect. Right. One thing that I'll teach like a couple DJs that I help out is when people ask for requests, is you want a little bit of a delay. You want to pretend that you didn't hear them. And then you look back and you're like, what? Oh, yeah, yeah. Cool, awesome. Yeah, awesome, dude. And then, yeah, just let them go, right? Instead of like actually entertaining them, because then you're like, well, we're not going to do requests anyway. So, yeah, you'd be so surprised how much halo effect it gives you if people come up to you and you know they're just trying to take, right? And don't do this to be an asshole, right? But if you notice that they're trying to take something from you, or they're trying to like, I call it they're trying to ruin your life. Just say, "Oh yeah, yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, cool," and just let them go. Okay. Don't do that as being a dick. Like, don't be as like mean, right? But actually, if you notice someone's just trying to take value from you, then that's be okay doing that. So, something to ask yourself when it comes to halo effect, specifically with wealth building strategies, is would you buy from you based on the version of yourself that the internet sees? Okay. And you got to be very conscious of this, right? When I throw free real estate community events, right, I will orchestrate the shot, right? I'll be in front talking to 50, 100, maybe 200 people, whatever it is, right? Explain some real estate or giving them a talk or whatever. And I want my cameraman positioned in the way that it looks like there's a sea of people watching me. I don't want the cameraman right in front of me and just looking at me because it's not about me. It's about other people. Remember that. All halo effect is remembering it's not about you, it's about how other people perceive you. Okay. Not that how other people perceive you is so important. You got to understand that, especially if someone doesn't know you, if someone has never met me, right? And I just say, "Oh, I'm a real estate coach. I charge this much." Cool. Well, all right, maybe they might sign up for a program, but if they see footage of myself talking to a room or like testimonials, people saying that I've actually helped them get into real estate, I've helped them become a millionaire. Well, that's going to be way more powerful than me just saying it, right? That's why you kind of want to orchestrate shots. And my cameramen are so good at this, right? I know like you're shooting DJ Henny at Summer Sound, right? And then he had like his girlfriend and another dancer there. And like we were trying to get them, like aligned in a way that would make the shot look cool. Like it's actually like in line with Jay Henny in the middle, girls on the side, nice background in the back, and actually made it look cool, right? Sometimes you got to orchestrate shots like that. It's fine. So here's the end piece. I'm gonna leave you guys, and then we can do some Q&A. Some people, especially on TikTok, we're jumping on asking a little bit more questions. But the truth is, you don't rise to your potential. Okay, you fall to the level of your perceived identity, and the most important perception of your identity is your own perception. If you don't actually believe that you deserve halo effect, that you deserve people to treat you on a higher scale, that if you don't deserve those things and you don't think you deserve those things, well, halo effect is going to put chains around your neck. It's going to work against you. But if you understand that you have value just being you, and you also understand how to manufacture that value, manufacture that perception that you're at a higher level, well, halo effect is going to put a crown on your head. Right? So if this shook something into you and you want to see how to actually interpret, you want to see how you can actually apply this to your life, okay? Try it out. Make a piece of content, make a reel, make a voice note, make a video, whatever it is, and then tag me at Patrick J. Hilario and share what landed in this video. Share what actually helped you out. Share what you want to try in the world, or maybe what you will try already or have tried. Okay. That will be your application into mirror mentoring. Okay. Because I want to help you guys get to the next level. But the reason I asked you guys to do these little things to apply into mirror mentoring is because I need you to take action. This is not one of those coaching programs. This is a transformational system where I'm going to ask you to take action on things, right? Especially for things that are going to move you towards your goals. Because the reason I made this whole program is I've spent so much time helping people transform their lives, specifically through real estate and money. Then I realized it was never really about the real estate or the money. That's the cherry on top. Oh, you get the freedom. Awesome. But if you can actually learn how to use halo effect, learn how to develop yourself into the fullest and best version of yourself, you will be unstoppable. You got Peter in the chat.